Hey, Alan, you're all the way in the UK. How have the last couple of weeks been for you?
Yeah, it's all a bit odd, isn't it? I guess it's the same for most of the world at the moment, but yeah, it's certainly a bit. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Yeah, I mean, it's been nice in some ways, but I've got a 7-month-old daughter, so I've been able to spend a bit of time at home and stuff with her, and no work on. So yeah, get a bit done on the house, things like that. So yeah, we're sort of 2 weeks in now, I think, on the lockdown. So I'm sure give it a bit longer, we'll start getting a bit more itchy and a bit, wanting to get out more. But yeah.
So you guys pretty much just staying quarantined at home?
Yeah. Luckily, we live in a little village with a canal and fields and stuff, so we can go out for a walk and sort of get out. So it's not quite so bad. It just gets us out of the house for an hour or so each day.
That's nice.
Yeah, that helps a lot, even if it's just for a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. You just need to get out sometimes, don't you? You just go insane. Especially if the daughter's playing up, then if she's having a bad mood all day, then it's not good.
No good, yeah.
Well, she's young enough that you don't have to worry about homeschooling or anything now, because I've heard
That's
that.
true. Yeah, that's it. Just put her on a mat, play with some toys, let her roll around, feed her every now and again, change her. The reason I'm a little bit late is about 2 minutes ago, she just exploded in her nappy and.
Oh no!
It was quick. Oh no, not just the wrong time. But there we go.
So it's safe to say you're not bored. That's for sure.
No, that's it. Keeps you on your toes.
Cool. So let's talk about Team Apollo. You guys have been pretty successful, I'd say. Back in BBC days, and I think you went to King of Bots also, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we won Series 8 of Robot Wars with Apollo. So Dave, my brother's captain with Apollo, so he did all that. And then I went over to I've done all the King of Bots series, and then the last series, we won that with sort of similar design. So we thought, well, we've won Robot Wars, we've won King of Bots, so we need to come and do the triple and take you guys on.
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much set the bar. Apollo set the bar for like the UK. This is like UK versus like US flipper.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people want to see it. They want to see us go in there with Hydra or Bronco or whatever, and just see who's what's the best. The best who's got the best flippers. But
I want to see it.
I mean, we do. We'd love to do it. We're dying to have a go.
Yeah. So, are you guys planning? I mean, obviously, you've got your machine pretty well dialed in and done like variants of it, like the King of Bots version.
Yeah.
Are you rebuilding entirely for BattleBots? Or you? I mean, you don't have to say if you don't want to, but
no. So it's it's a new chassis. It is a new machine, but we've had to, because of the time that we had available and money and things like that, we've had to sort of try and use as much parts and things like that mainly from Vulcan, from King of Bots, because Apollo we need to run in the UK, so we can't afford to take anything off that or whatever, because we run live shows in the UK, so we need that still to be running for the UK, whereas Vulcan, don't know what's happening with China, when that might be again, so we've had to borrow some parts, and because of time as well, it just makes things a lot easier, and it means that we know we're going to turn up with a robot that's going to work when it gets in the arena. It's not, there's no unknowns to it. There's a few bits that we've had to change, and obviously we've had to tweak it and go to nitrogen instead of CO2 and things like that, but on the whole it should work, but you never know, do you? It's a lot of the risks have been taken away.
Sure. So with a pneumatic flipper, like we have a similar problem testing a vertical spinner safely. Yeah. So with a pneumatic flipper, is that easier, or is it still have a lot of things?
I mean, the nice thing about the UK is obviously normally there's lots of events going on, so we can test them, run them at events, do fights. We can do play fights, and just to test it, and just to get rid of all the little problems that you might encounter and things like that. So but the pneumatics in Orion is basically the same as what was in Vulcan, and then the same as what was in Apollo before that, so we know that works, and we sort of didn't really want to change that, because you don't break what's that's not broken. So
Yeah. Well, you guys are definitely like the UK flipper for sure.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a reputation for that. I mean, obviously, Winning Robot always helped, and then flipping over the house robots and things like that, all that sort of stuff.
I remember that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
How much do those house robots weigh? 500 pounds, over that?
Over. It's about I think Matilda, Shunt, and Dead Metal are all around 400 kilograms. So what's that? 800.
800. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And then on our shows we have Goliath, which is sort of a similar thing to Kill a Lot, and that's sort of I think Kill a Lot 700 kilos. So what's that? Sort of 1,500 pounds. And
wow.
we get them over. Yeah. I mean that's a rollover. Whereas something like Dead Metal, he's nearly 5 foot wide. So it's not just the weight, it's the physical size of the thing trying to roll that over. So I was actually quite surprised we managed to get Dead Metal over. Yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell us more about those live shows you guys do?
Yeah, so we started up in, what was it, 2007. So we built an arena and we go around the country, putting on live shows for audiences. So we'll go into a venue, set the arena up, and we'll do like 3 or 4 2-hour shows over a weekend. And it's very much a show. It's not like the events that you guys tend to have where it's sort of part of a competition, like Robo Games was or something like that, where it's, there's something going on all through the day, where we're very much set up as a show. So the audience come in, it starts at, 6 o'clock, whatever it might be, and it's very much run as a show. And it's nice because that, we can obviously, we make money off selling the tickets and putting on a show. That means that we can run the shows and run the events, and that gives teams somewhere to come. And because there's so many events, we're sort of around the country, so it's easy for people. Obviously, transport's not as much of an issue as obviously as in America, because it's 4 hours driving and you can get anywhere you like in Britain, so it's not too bad. But so it's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've been doing that for years.
Do you guys televise that at all, or stream it online?
No, we have looked at streaming it and things, but I don't think there's enough of a demand for the streaming to worth the effort setting it up, because we have very short time when we get to a venue to set up and things like that, and obviously we have to gear it all towards the live audience that's there. The show has to be for them, it has to keep them entertained. So trying to then sort of put a web show into it as well, we have thought about it. I mean, it's something we keep looking at and keep sort of going back to, and I'm sure probably one day we'll end up doing it. But it's something we'll look at one day, but whether it's a feasible thing to do for every event, I don't think. Probably not.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I mean, then people around the world could watch.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, we've got to keep the sport going and showing it's still alive, and especially in the UK now without a TV show and things like that. It's you got to keep it still going with web shows and things like that. So it is something we're looking at.
Yeah.
Do you do anything during those live shows to limit damage to the robots? Because obviously that's a huge expense and time.
Yeah, so we don't run the spinners, which I know, the Americans don't like the idea of and things. We get a lot of stick for it. But the fact is if we're doing 3 or 4 shows over a weekend, each robot probably does 2 fights a show. So, you can come and do 8 fights in 2 days. So if you've got the spinners there, everyone's destroyed within 2 shows, and you've got nothing for the next day. And then the other thing is the arena then obviously has to be able to take the spinners. So you go from a 10-hour setup to 3 days, and you go from being able to carry everything by hand to forklifts, and and then obviously the cost of the arena and all that sort of stuff. It's not feasible. And when we've done sort of feedback things with our audiences, no one's ever really mentioned it in 10 years. Every event we do, we do a feedback thing and go, what would you like to see added to the show? And I think maybe 2 people in 10 years have said spinners. So, if they're not missing it, then and that's, I think, one of the reasons why the UK spinners aren't quite at the same level as some of the others, just because they don't quite get the practice, and why the flippers have done so well, because it's the dominant way of winning.
Right.
I think people want to see whatever makes robots go flying. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's it. When you're, we get a lot of families and a lot of children come to the show, so to see, a 250-pound robot being thrown 6 foot in the air, and we've still got all the axes and things like that. So it's still a spectacle, especially when you're that close to it in a sort of relative, I say small venue. I mean, we're talking sort of 500 people, something like that. But it's not like a big exhibition centre, so it's there and you're quite close and it's almost quite intimate. So yeah, you feel it, like, you know, the robots we fight and you'll feel the floor shaking and things like that. So, you know, they go mad for it. So it's great.
No, that's awesome. So that's you guys compete the full, what are they, 100 kilogram or 110 kilogram?
Yeah, 110. Yeah. So we do the heavyweights. That's what our shows are mainly. We have the featherweights in there as well. So we do that as sort of quite a nice little thing because, you know, the audience can see, you know, if you want to do this, this is where you start. You know, you start with the featherweights and you build your way up. You know, most of the top teams in the UK all started with featherweights, you know, back in the day and have worked their way up to the heavyweights. So it's quite a nice thing and it sort of adds a bit of difference into the show. It breaks the show up a little bit to have the featherweights in there because we'll throw 20 of them in there at a time. So when you've got a big arena with a big audience and you've just had 2 or 3 heavyweights fight, and if you did a one-on-one featherweight fight, you know, no matter how good they are, it doesn't have the same impact. So
Sure,
if you throw 20 of them in there and a house robot and we've got all the arena weapons going and everything, it's just mayhem and they'll love it. So yeah, and it's good and it gives teams somewhere to come and you know, start with their featherweights and work their way up, and you know, they're in the pits alongside, you know, heavyweight teams that they know and that they want to, you know, hopefully, you know, take the step up to heavyweights.
That's great. That's great that you guys are doing that and keeping that alive over there.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, we've tried to do it as much as we can with the weight classes and things. You know, because like I said, that's how we started off. So we need this new blood keep coming into the sport, because if it doesn't, you know, people are only going to do this for so long, especially without a TV show. You know, and give it a few years, the numbers will start dying off. And once we don't have enough robots to put on a show, then we can't run the events, and then that's it. Then the whole thing will just die, because without the events, there's no point in anybody having a robot.
Right. Especially putting that kind of money into a robot of that size. You know, it's like easier to build a, you know, small 1 pound, 3 pound or whatever robot in your garage, but building a 250-pound robot is quite, you know, a huge undertaking, requires a huge team, a lot of money, a lot of time.
Yeah, it's usually not anybody's first robot. There's some exceptions, but usually most teams have built something else before.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like I said, we started with the featherweights and amp weights and things, and then the first heavyweight we built, you know, it was still rubbish, but it was still further along than it would have been had we just gone straight into that, you know. And of course, you not only are the parts more expensive, it then becomes more expensive when you make those mistakes. You know, if you go and buy something that's not quite up to the job, or you know, you've underspec something or something like that, it's very expensive very quickly. So yeah, so with, at least with featherweights and things, it's not too bad, and people don't need the facilities because the robots have evolved a lot in 20 years since I started. You know, so you know, you look at the amount of CNC stuff that goes into things now compared to what it was 20 years ago. They were sort of just made out of steel box section, most heavyweights, whereas now there's maybe 1 or 2 still built like that.
Yeah, most of them are all CNC'd or welded hard ox or whatever. Yeah. The level, definitely the quality of robots has gone up a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues we've probably found in the UK, is that sort of before, in the original series, because the series was so big, there was a lot of robots that probably weren't that competitive, that were in there just because they make good television or something like that. So people could sit at home and go, oh, I can do that, I can do better than that. But then since the new series has come along and most of the robots were already, even though people haven't seen them before, they've been doing the live events for 5 years or something. And then they went, oh, hold on a minute, this is maybe beyond, you know, what we could jump into or something like that. So the featherweights or any other weight limit, you know, the beetle weights are quite big over here now. You know, any other weight limit they can sort of look at and go, well, actually, maybe that's more reachable at the moment, and then, you know, gradually, hopefully, get the confidence to work their way up.
Yeah, I think the TV show is like generating awareness, though, of like what these robots are, and I think it's hard for people at home to see like the scale or understand what the scale of a 250-pound robot is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, we get a lot of questions from people who want to start building robots. They're like, they think it's like this super complicated, you know, there's a lot of programming and a lot of stuff, and granted, some robots are, but most of them are basic RC control stuff.
Well, that's it. Yeah, most I mean, you can build a competitive heavyweight now with off-the-shelf components. You know, you can put by motor gearbox combination, bolt it straight in, and as long as you've got some way of making a chassis and a weapon, then certainly drive-wise, you can do it off the shelf nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So you're coming to BattleBots after winning 2 of the biggest international competitions in the world. Who are you looking forward to fighting at BattleBots?
Obviously, we'll navigate the flippers. And I think, obviously Bite Force is the most successful. I think Tombstone's still the one you want to go at. I think everyone still is all like, well, actually, still Tombstone's the one we want to have a, can we, a lot of people have said, oh, the brick robots can't handle the big spinners. So we're like, well, put us in with the biggest then. And, we'll see how we get on. And if he beats us, he beats us, and we're not strong enough. But I think, with our design, we'd certainly be all right with Tombstone. We very nearly fought him in the first series because we came over as an alternate, and Beta was meant to fight Tombstone in the opening fight because Beta wasn't ready and didn't work. It had to be pulled out, and it was between us and Counter Revolution of who went in to fight him, and actually Counter Revolution ended up getting the nod.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
It didn't work out too well for them. So that'd have been interesting to have gone in then and had a go back then. So yeah, I mean, obviously you want to have a go at the big names, I mean, we started filming what today we should have been filming. I mean, we could have been in, together. We don't know. So yeah, I mean, I think probably the first few fights you probably want sort of slightly easier ones just to get the feel for it, make sure the robot's okay, and then then whoever really.
And then Tombstone.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people have been saying, oh, they want to see us fight the Cobalt team because there's a bit of past history with robot wars with them and things like that. And we're like, we don't want to travel all the way to America with all these other teams and fight somebody who lives half an hour down the road. We want to fight, we want to fight new teams. That's why we want to come and do this. So
exactly. Yeah, we get the same thing. People want to see fight Hypershock, and we're like, he lives like 15 minutes from us. So like, I don't need to travel 2,000 miles to fight him.
Yeah, and it was the same when we've done China and things like that. And you're like, I don't want to fight a British team. I fought them countless times in the UK. I want to go and have a go at someone else or something a bit different. And it was quite nice in China to have a go at some of the American teams as well, and just sort of have a feel for, because we've already fought, well, what is Gigabyte, Shredderator, and Quantum. We've already fought sort of those over their sort of Chinese versions over in China. So it's sort of quite nice then to see it move then over to America and see if we can step it up.
I think people are expecting you to step it up for sure.
yeah, that's the problem though, is that people set this expectation and things like that, and we're not actually that competitive. We're not, we don't come, we're not going to be upset if we don't come there and win it or anything like that. As long as we go on there and we put on a good show and we don't humiliate ourselves or anything like that, and and get some good fights, then that's all we're bothered about really. It's winning, it's obviously nice and it's a bonus, but it's not why we do it. We want to, it was one of the reasons we keep the robot simple and easy to repair, is just because it means that we're not stuck repairing it all the time. It means we can go off and chat to the other teams and and watch fights and things like that. We don't want one of these robots that people are constantly having to do things to. It's like, no, it's too much hard work. We want to enjoy the social side of it as well. And when we did the last series of Robot Wars, we didn't want to get knocked out just because we didn't want to have to go home. We wanted just to spend a few extra days with our friends and our mates, because it's what we enjoy.
So you just kept winning and winning and winning. So.
Well, yeah, try to. And then luckily they asked us to do an international special, so we had to hang around for that. So that was all right. So that's okay. As long as we don't get smashed up and we can do the international special, it means we can stay here for a few days longer and have a bit more fun.
Sounds good. So your brother's are you the captain, or is your brother the captain?
So for this, I'm captain, but Dave's captain in the UK with Apollo.
Okay. Gotcha. So you guys, are you going to have the same, usually like with Apollo, you guys have like the boy band kind of leather jacket?
Yeah, well, he's much more sort of confident with that sort of thing. I'm not that great with that sort of side of things. So the first series he had a couple of his mates, they were sort of holiday camp entertainers. So they were very much, a lot of confidence in front of the camera and all that sort of thing. So for the last series of Robot Wars, when I joined him, we had to sort of change the attitude a little bit. But yeah, we'll try and do something. I don't know what. We're just hoping he can make it, because actually, if we were going out there now to film, he wasn't able to make it because he just started a new job and he moves house next week, so he wasn't actually going to be able to make it. So hopefully now with the date change, he'll be able to come.
Interesting. Cool. Well, it was interesting. You said you talked about wanting to just have a good time and hang out with friends and stuff, and it's interesting because you seem a lot more humble than your brother. You know, he kind of like was the big talker on Robot Wars, and
I mean, a lot of it's a show. At the end of the day, you've got to, you know, we know, you know, we're sort of, because we're from the entertainment side, we're doing the live events and things like that. You know, we know you've got to put on a show. You know, it's because, you know, even, you know, some of the most famous teams in the UK are teams that haven't been that successful. It's just because they've got the showmanship and they're good on camera and they're entertaining to watch. And, you know, most teams, you know, because of the type of people it attracts, aren't that confident on camera. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and as nice as they are and as great as they are, they've probably not got the most confidence. So, yeah, I think anyone who comes with something a bit different and good for TV, the producers especially, will just jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few things that we're going to try and do this time first. So we've got because obviously we're on the rocket theme. If you look on our Facebook page, our cover photo is the robot standing on its back on sort of the transport tower. So you've seen the transporter that they used to take the rockets out to the launch. So we're actually building one of those. So the robot will come out on that down the tunnel and into the arena on this stood on its back on a transporter. You know, just like that. It's all good TV.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, and Greg was desperate for us to have. He says, if you're having rockets on it, you've got to have fire coming out. We've got to have fire, so got to have fire on it. As much as I don't want to put fire on it because it's a pain, we've got. You can't have rockets on it and not have fire come out, can you? So
could have smoke or something come out, steam.
That's it. Yeah, we'll do something.
Sounds like fun. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, no, it should be good. Hopefully, I mean, obviously we don't know when it's going to be yet, but hopefully the dates don't clash with anything and that we're still able to come over. And as long as it's not September, because I get married in September, so there's no way I can get out of that one. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully we can still make it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for taking our call. I think it's been especially fun to do this with teams that we wouldn't talk to so much normally.
Yeah.
Because when we're at the event, all we talk about is robots. So this has been really nice to see.
We're a bit sad like that.
So yeah, thanks for taking our call and stay safe.
No problem. And you. And hopefully see you sometime in the arena.